So 9 years apart, I lost my mom, my dad, and my sister. I had two little kids, got remarried. He got shipped overseas to Iraq, still was selling 100 plus homes a year. Did not put my health, did not put my personal health as a priority because I was so focused on I had to do whatever it took to take care of my family.
Welcome to the Maverick podcast, where I sit down with proven, tested leaders and they take you behind the curtain of what they're doing that's working in their organization, along with the interesting journey of life that goes with it. And today I am super excited to have Christina Griffin from LPT in the house. How are you?
I'm great, John. I'm excited to be here and share and just thanks for the opportunity.
You bet. Well, as I mentioned in the intro, it's real important that everyone gets to hear some strategies, some tactics, some business framework that can help them out. But what I know in my career and knowing you and all of our peers in the industry, I don't think anyone is where they're at because they're really good at what they do. I think that if people look at the one identifier of why they're successful and why you have such a huge role in one of the fastest growing companies in history, it has to do with what they've overcome. So take us back through time into a couple things. I think both the just as a backfill before we get into the stuff of the personal and business trajectory that you've walked through.
Okay, I absolutely. I am, 45, and I would say I've overcame a lot. And I'll start at the beginning. My mom died of cancer when I was 9 years old. She actually died of the same exact cancer I beat. While my mom was dying of cancer, I was actually abused by an uncle. So fast forward that 9 years later, during that time frame, I ate a lot, gained a lot of weight. I weigh less now than I did at 9 years old. And so from my mom dying, 9 years after that, my father died in a boating accident. And during that time frame, I had a sister that was 2 years younger than me. So I immediately became mom. My dad made me remove my toys at 9 years old. There was no more at Christmas the way that most kids look forward to it. And I had to immediately grow up. And so that journey, I would say, brought me to my dad dying when I was 9 years later, when I was 18 years old. I immediately took custody of my sister, who was 16 at the time. Got married right away. I had full scholarships to go into college. I had my AA before I graduated high school. And needless to say, I went into real estate because my mom was in real estate. It was as simple as to my ex-husband, what the heck do I do?
Well, let me interrupt real quick. And
Yes.
one thing that I don't like doing, and with all due respect to other podcast folks, is I'm here to just facilitate. I want people to hear from you, but I need just to interject. So my father died in a boating accident, and I'm in real estate because my mom got me in real estate. So, anyways, with that said, keep going. Crazy.
I said to my ex-husband, what should I do? I'm 18 years old, just became mother of my sister. He said, why don't you go into real estate like your mom?
Yeah, sure.
That was so I went into real estate like my mom.
Mm.
And immediately, my first 2 years, I was managing large apartment communities at 18, 19 years old. 21 had my first child. My first year licensed was when I was 21 years old. I sold 50 homes. The next year, I sold 100 homes. Every single year since then, I've sold 100 homes. So I would say for you that I'd love everyone to know is when your why is so big that no matter what the heck is going on in your world, I had to take care of my sister. that was my why. That was my family. I may have been at the time 300 plus pounds. I was going through, I'd say a bad marriage. And, I had two beautiful kids. And but during that time, no matter what, I still got up every single day and I sold 100 homes a year. Okay. So, a 9 years later, there was a lot in between. Went through a divorce. Um, One thing him and I did is we never talked bad about each other in front of the kids, and our two little boys are best friends today. So, 9 years later, my sister, the one I took custody of, that I changed my world, she died in a car crash, drunk driving. So 9 years apart, I lost my mom, my dad, and my sister. I had two little kids, got remarried. He got shipped overseas to Iraq, still was selling 100 plus homes a year. Did not put my health, did not put my personal health as a priority because I was so focused on I had to do whatever it took to take care of my family. Um, so I would say that is, I call it the big core journey.
Good.
Now,
Let me ask this real
yeah.
quick. So what, because I mean, there's so much that's important. It's,
Mhm.
emotions come before strategy and tactic. And you had to, because I mean, if you had let your emotions get the best of you, that never would have happened. With that said, what did you do? What would you say if you were to say to someone to go back, and be able to sell 100 homes outside of the mindset, the heart set, the emotional maturity that
Mhm.
took place there? What were your primary activities that you did to generate business when you were selling 100 homes a year?
Great question. So my first role in real estate when I became licensed was for an investor. And the investor bought, fixed, and sold homes.
Okay.
And needless to say, I sold all of his homes. I got really great at finding awesome deals. He couldn't buy them all. So at 22 years old, I was renting buses, going to investor seminars, filling them up with investors, general contractors, and walking through bank foreclosures. So my first few years when in real estate was in the investor world, flipping and assigning and learning how to have conversations with sellers around pre-foreclosures, learning how to evaluate properties and the repairs. And I became the agent that everyone looked at as the investor realtor, from wholesalers and everything in between. They bring me deals, but the prospecting, a lot of it just it came natural. I knew that if I door knocked 100 homes, how many sales that would result in.
So you hunted every day, period.
And that's what I'm doing now. I'm a hunter, but on a bigger level.
And
I
what percentage, real quickly though, because I think this is
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Um, what percentage of your day, if you were to look at your day, what percentage of your day was truly in hunt mode? If you look at
I
it, at
At least 2 hours every day.
least 2 hours.
On a minimum. That's it. It was 2 hours every day minimum. It was at least 5 to 6 days a week minimum. Then it was relationship building, and then
Sure.
it was closing deals. It was
Sure. So because what I want everyone to hear is because this trajectory that you've had is okay, great. That prospecting, it was like, oh my goodness, our Maria Quattrone. Here's the problem with dialing 500 people is now I've got all the business the work that I need to do. I think the key piece, how did you, because this is a big place of also what I talk about, emotional maturity to recognize, oh, okay, I'm busy. I don't have to do those core things anymore. What was it that got you to say, no, I'm going to keep that foundation in place? Because that's the challenge a lot of people have. I've still got to hunt. And now you're managing this business that wasn't part of your business because all the relationships. Talk
Mhm.
about that.
For me, I am not a proponent of failing. And the investor I worked with, he said, this is what you need to do to get a deal for me. I did it. And then I simplified the process and I kept doing it. And a lot of times we'll see when deals don't work out, we become deflated. I had no other choice because I had to take care of my family. So a lot of it comes back to the why. But for me, it was I knew that if I did a certain activity, what the results would be. And and for me, gosh, it was probably something ingrained into me by my father. He had a huge towing business. And when my mom passed at 9, I was taking tow truck calls late at night. So I'm very much task oriented. So I would say, how did I do it? In order to take the emotion out and focus on what I knew worked and all the things going on at home from my two small children, to a new relationship to going through a divorce. I had to have a list that I just checked off every day. So I took the core activities after I dropped my kids off at daycare. Then I would focus on those core activities
Really good.
every day, and it just kept duplicating it.
At what point did you decide to grow a team and talk about that? And
Yeah.
who was your first hire? That's always an interesting one.
So with all the investors and the closings and everything, um, I'd say I'm part of helping the market crash 10 plus years ago. I had one of the hard money lenders that we did a ton of business with. He called and said, Christina, we keep taking back all of the houses that your investors bought. I need you to be my agent and sell these disasters. So that's when I became a bank owned agent and working with corporations. So I had to figure it out. And needless to say, pretty much overnight, I had about 100 listings. So my core hire was an assistant. And it was my husband helped with field inspections because after he got out of the military. But it was an assistant. So we had 100 plus homes a year that 100 homes, sorry, at one time. I think my first year as a bank owned agent, I probably did 300 or 400 transactions. I did not know what a CRM was. I did not have a coach. I did not know what profitability was. And then Bank of America said, Christina, I need you to go check out this coach that they were working with. And I walked in, needless to say, I walked out upset. I didn't even, I didn't know what a CRM was. All of the leads, hundreds of leads that came from the bank own. At that time, I had moved to a bigger box, bigger brokerage.
Mhm.
And the office is like, don't worry about those buyer leads. We'll just give them to the agents here. So I walked out that day, and it was actually right before my sister passed away. I walked out that day deciding I'm going to take control of my business. So CRM, got a coach, and then I started to grow a team because I actually grew a team for the right reasons because I had so much business I couldn't handle it.
Well, let's stop on that too. Was what did you jump right in the ferry organization?
Yes.
And one thing that I want to acknowledge is that this isn't about me. This is about any coaches that are out there, and that's a great organization. But I want people to hear this. You know, if you're being coached right now, and it's not where you want it to be, look in the mirror first. I just want to remind people, look in the mirror first. And recommit. If anything, this isn't about, hey, come to me or go to someone else. I think people can hop around.
Mhm.
And so my next question would be, how long did you stay in coaching? How long have you, from that time to today, have you ever had a year go by where you haven't been in coaching?
Oh, I haven't left.
Yeah.
I haven't left. So as that grew and my team grew, my sister passed away in the drunk driving accident. So
Right.
I will tell you from coaching that accountability, I still my why was huge, right? Married, kids, everything.
Mhm.
However, for me, the coaching helped because I felt like I wasn't in it alone anymore. And I don't know about everyone else. running a business, it's lonely. You have to find your people, and having that coach and that mentor through the process was very helpful for me. So I haven't left coaching. I actually became so focused on learning the craft, I became a coach myself.
Yeah, really.
So coaching, training, creating content, helping others, that's always been such a big passion of mine. So, for me, I personally have done over 6,000 transactions. Probably 20,000 plus agents in the last 2 years I've coached and trained. So as going through that transition, I ended up getting cancer just like my mother. We Today I celebrate my miracle baby's 10th birthday. They told me I could not have another child because I had uterine cancer. So, needless to say, I'm pretty stubborn and fought it, got pregnant, got rid of cancer, and I took control of my health, had gastric sleeve. And I will tell you, up until recently, probably about 9 months ago, I've dropped 80 pounds. Yeah, a day doesn't go by where I don't walk at least 4.5 miles, but it doesn't happen overnight. I don't even need an alarm. At 4 o'clock in the morning, my eyes are open and I get into the habit. So, for me, transitioning through this process, because my why was so big, most people get paralyzed with the amount of pain that they have gone through in their life. And I will tell you, for me, I feel like I've gone through it for a reason, and that's why I'm so passionate about giving back and helping
Yeah.
others.
Really good. Again, it always comes back to success isn't because we're good or smart, it's because of what we've overcome. And
Mhm.
and when you continue to overcome, you learn that's the classroom. Talk about going from then you built a team and then moved into executive level leadership.
Mhm.
And when did that take place? When did you really decide that, okay, great, here now I want to impact other lives? Yeah, I think there's two parts to it because there's a lot of people that don't build a team, and
Mhm.
no disrespect to it, but they just, they want to lead other people. And then there's people that, okay, hey, I need to scale myself, but also I want to impact other people. But then there was the next level that you took. At what point in your career did you decide that I am going to move into an executive level? Sure, as you own your team, you're the CEO, but I'm talking about an executive level position with a large organization. When did that happen, and what was your first role that you took in an executive level position with an organization?
It was at my prior organization,
Mhm.
and when you see people lead and they impact people on such a massive level, I knew that I was meant for something bigger. And so there's a beautiful woman by the name of Mo Anderson. And I remember telling Gary Keller that I know I'll never be Mo, but I want to be a Mo to an organization. I want to be the hammer that creates opportunity, that prays for her people, that is there to love on an industry and organization. And he said, "Okay, let's go." So I started in the map.
You had a desire to impact
Yes,
mass.
yes. And for me, then I went through our coaching organization, then started to lead a community, and I just as that grew. That's when I'd say I decided to make the change that I knew. I just the CEO, Robert Palmer, his vision and what he wants to do for our agents and real estate world, it aligns so much. So that's when I made the decision to go into the role that I am now.
So yeah, let's talk about that. How long have you been at LPT and in your role? And let's jump into, I mean, you're on another one of those freight trains, man. There's not
Yeah.
everyone does. There's a select few that over the past few years that have really grown. And Robert's a brilliant man, and of course, part of that brilliance is bringing on great talent like yourself. How long ago did you come into your role, and talk about what you're doing right now in that role on a daily basis, besides spinning plates?
No, I'm really good at it. No, it's only been 5.5 months.
Wow.
So it's only been 5.5 months. So I oversee our Leads Connect program
Okay.
that is launching through the entire country next year. Right now we are in beta in several Florida's our primary focus right now, but we're
And
perfect.
tell everyone, what are your guys' lead sources right now that you guys have in there?
Our lead sources are actually so Robert Palmer is perfected how to bring in leads, and that is the main lead source. So we have other miscellaneous, but Robert is amazing at
Would
what
you
he
have Zillow, Realtor.com? Talk about what are all the
uh,
different.
a little bit of Zillow. Most of our sources right now are Robert and what he does to bring in leads through Google.
Oh, okay.
And his other genius ways. So Leads Connect, I oversee. Then I also oversee and lead with Robert our LPT Plus.
Okay.
So coaching, training the agents. We also just hired a relocation director. So all things for me is leads, prospecting, the coaching and training around it, and going to go get national opportunity for our agents.
Talk about so let's go into that. Talk about Leads Connect. So you got the leads come in, talk, what is your structure of it? What are all the moving parts? How many team members do you have behind you? And what do they all do? Break this all down, because I had someone that got on a conversation with me. Hey, I need to chat Saturday, and it was, in this place on their team. Talk about that, the Leads Connect piece.
So we're
For
actually fully focused right now on perfecting a great appointment. So we are assigning to agents appointments. We have a large ISA team that
how many ISAs?
with 23.
23. Okay, good.
Yes. So 23, and it's going to keep
Remote or in-house?
Most are remote,
Okay,
and then we do have our Texas in the States ISA team. So
sure. Good.
we have, and for me, a lot of people have asked how do you have that many and hold them accountable? They all have a leader. So we have an opening ISA leader. We have a close who oversees and holds their team that's on duty. We have a weekend team, and I'm very strict with reporting. So for me, that is they start with their start a day and end a day with high accountability, and then we do end of week wrap ups.
So
So
they do end of day and end of week. They run it all up to you. So you've got these people
it
that are
actually funnels to their leader that summarizes it,
very
then
good.
it gets to me. So a lot of us, I think we need to have our hands in everything, and when we lead our people and hold them accountable, then you can scale on absolutely any level. So that for me, a process, a task, systems, that's something I find a lot of joy in. So we have great people, great leaders, and we're really perfecting to grow just the most powerful appointment so we can scale it through the whole country. We do have other sources, or I call it other tiers, that I'll wait for Robert to announce publicly, but we're doing really great things with it.
Good. Let's talk about the appointment. Well,
Sure.
let's go back to the handoff. Talk about your handoff process and how that works.
Sure. We have this amazing technology that he has created. So when our ISA team has that live appointment on, it connects with the agent that is ready, willing, and able right now within seconds to connect live with the seller. So that is it's all in-house technology that he's created. So
Buyer or seller, right?
buyer or seller. So and right now that is our focus is getting the agents the most powerful appointment possible. Uh, I'm excited. It's the progress has been really great, and the agents are the because we have a core beta group. They are really working hard to help us perfect the system because we will be launching it for the whole country next year.
Woo!
Yes. The other focus for me is we have a national cash offer platform. So we've hired a great team to work hand in hand with me. You said hunting. Have I always been a hunter? I call it big game hunting. I love going after big opportunity. I use data. So data will show everything. Data who's buying, I can see who owns hundreds of thousands of homes, and our team will be going to after those large opportunities to bring in more cash offer partners as well as opportunity for our agents. And then we also just launched our relocation department with our CRP, our amazing relocation director, and growing that as well. So we've got a lot of great things. Our LPT Plus program, that is also something that I handle. That's our paid monthly option for agents where they have tools, resources, and then they have masterminds twice a week.
Right, right. So they get greater access to more tools, more resources, and
Yes.
coaching. And you guys,
And it's an option.
good, good.
Robert, one thing I love about him, he's so big on options for agents. And so an agent has the option to opt into it or not. So if they opt into it, they have an option to opt into all the tools or not. But I will tell you what they pay. In my prior world, people were paying a heck of a lot more than that a month just to be group coached.
Mhm. Yeah, really good.
So yeah.
Talk about, let's go into, because most of our peers and our audience
Mhm.
here are either aspiring team leader CEOs
Mhm.
or existing CEOs or people in executive roles. And listen, I've navigated it through it myself for years and continue to pick and choose. How do you talk about the journey of scaling yourself? And
Mhm.
I don't mean from all these people that you have, but keeping yourself, you know, not going down in the weeds too
Yeah.
far. Talk about that one, because the one thing that I'll say about my experience has been almost every single great CEO or team leader or executive is a control freak. I mean, because everything has its duality. Oh, I can build a business and I can hire all these people, but yet, the number one thing we work on, talk about navigating that part. And I don't know that that's a strategy or a tactic. I mean, that's more of an inside out type thing. How do you keep yourself out of the things that you don't need to be in, and or catch yourself when you do get there if you do?
I think a lot of it comes with getting strong here. For me, it got to a point, I'd say probably about a year ago, I knew I was not in the place that I wanted to be for the rest of my life, physically, mentally. And it took a lot of hard work and it took a lot of, was getting up at 7 and now it's natural at 4. So when you have that consistency and you get strong mentally and you do it for you, nobody else, then that's where the magic happens. So for me, a lot of that I'd say helped me when things aren't in my control. I focus on what I can control, um, and focusing on what you can control really, I think, keeps it simple. You also have to have clarity on why you get up each and every day. For me, from when I was 18 years old to now, I do it every day because I want to provide big for my family and I want to impact others. And I know that if I don't get up to do my obligations, my amazing 10-year-old and my kids and the charity involvements I have, I'm not going to be able to keep moving that forward. So I think when you have clarity that no matter what, I also, again, I think in task and systems. So it allows me very simply, and I do let the emotion go in, but this is weird to vocalize. I just put my tennis shoes on and go for a run if that happens. Um, so, but when you think in task and checklist and you have clarity on what you need to do, then it allows you to remove the emotion and stay focused on the goal. So,
Really good. Talk about the perfecting the appointment. If because certainly you've perfected, well, I mean, none of us are perfect, it's a process, but you've proven to do a good job of appointments because you can't sell as many homes as you've sold if you haven't. Where do you feel that agents fall down the most in an appointment? What are the areas that, if you're given 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 agents, someone says, perfect their appointment. What would you say are the key areas that agents need to improve, do better, or or challenge and fall down?
I- One thing, it's the ones that you give away everything to others. You delegate to your ISA, you delegate to your team members. For me, I'm on the phone every single solitary week. I'm having conversations as well because I want to hear what objections. I want to hear when the lead source comes in, if our people are struggling and they cannot make an appointment, I want to hear why. So just being able to put my feet into what's happening, I think that's helpful. So if you're delegating and you're wondering why appointments aren't converting, put a headset on and go to work. And then the other thing, it's the consistency. A lot of people struggle with time blocks, and I've heard lately a lot of agents that the biggest core thing is just tell me what to do. Well, you have to self-manage yourself, and if you knew every single day who you need to call, but you should know for the entire month. So you have a monthly, a weekly, and a daily plan. And or the other thing, it takes me longer to figure out who I need to call than actually making the phone call. So, for me, John, it's just the doing the work, right? If you're not getting people on the phone, then go put your tennis shoes on and go drop something off at their door. Doing the work, that's the biggest thing I would say that I see why people can't make an appointment.
Mhm, mhm. The coming back to the leading a big group like this, and a lot of times I'll hear from folks that, gosh, I've had my COO for 90 days and they're not working out, or I've had a sales manager for 90 days and they're not working out. And I'll say, so great. Have you onboarded, continued to train, indoctrinate, and develop them at the same level you do a brand new real estate agent off the street? Talk to me about leading these people, and if there is a breakdown of time where, hey, it's reporting, it's looking at the numbers and
Mhm.
commitment, recommitment, measurement part of business. How much of the time is spent where you're developing these ISAs and coaching and training, developing the leaders? Where does training and coaching people up come into play? At what percentage versus just, hey, where are the numbers at? What did you do? What didn't you do?
Yeah. So for me, I follow a 12-week year. And that is something I'd say probably the last year plus. And I want to share a brain dump. I have started this and I've been doing this consistently for the last few years. I have an administrative quiet block on a weekend. And I take a page for everything from personal to if I'm in charge of different core products, and I get out of my head what I need to do, whether it's a task or a training or the ISAs, I need to work with them on scripts. And that, because for me, that allows, with that brain dump, it allows me to create tasks. I'm very much an operational leader. So I create tasks out of my brain dump for each of the core buckets. And let's just say ISA team. If I'm clear on what my objections are and I know that they need to have a certain training, then that's created where they literally just have to follow, go here to do this, to do this. So I hopefully that answered it, but
It really does. Let me
yeah.
skate it back to you. So you go through a reflective process based on the week that's taken place, and you
Mhm.
got your antenna up, what worked, what didn't work. You're just kind of going to the stream of consciousness, and then you map out where you need to develop more, focus more, etc. Basically, just
Absolutely. And
beautiful.
and and in
So
addition,
simple. It's so
yeah,
simple.
it
It's
is because
simple.
it takes
Well,
so
you
much.
know what can happen?
Yeah.
And what can happen is a lot of people can get into this thing, okay, it's Friday or it's Saturday or whatever, okay, I'm done. And then they go rev up again on Monday, but you're taking this, it's like one of the things I believe, your future's in your past.
Yeah.
And
I
so you're going back over these last 7 days. What worked? Great. Let's compound that. What didn't work? Let's make that better.
and in addition to that, so I have a habit that every single Sunday morning, so my family likes to sleep in. We we do church. I have this crazy thing. I can't sleep in anymore. So
No,
I exercise, and then at 5 a.m. until 8 a.m. is my administrative block. No distractions, by myself, cup of coffee out on my back porch. Then we do the big family breakfast and go to church. You have to take administrative blocks regardless of what level your business is to work on your business. So once I do all of that, then I also summarize the high points, and then I send it to my CEO every week for his feedback.
that's good. That's
So
really good.
it's we have to plan. We flying by the seat of our pants is it's just something a lot of us as salespeople do. I will tell you, once that happened and I know here's the 10 tasks I have to do today, and then if I have a project block, here's the things I need to do. It's not that complicated. And the 12-week year, that concept really helped me. Committing that to mastery, that really helped me on staying focused. And, a great coach that tells me all the time, stay focused on what you can control. So, but John, I'm truly living proof that no matter what you go through, you can overcome anything. I'm cancer free today. My kid's 10 years old today. The one they told me I couldn't have, down 235 pounds. And I'm so excited for the future, and I'm so excited for what LPT and just everything that God put me on this earth to do.
Yeah, it's pretty magnificent to watch it happen. Um, so I'm gonna put you on the spot. We'll close on this one,
Okay.
uh, but it's really not. And I know, um, coach people on how to work with a CEO. Not Robert's brilliant, and this isn't picking on Robert. We've had these conversations.
Yeah.
They are all out there the same. They're crazy in a good way.
Yep.
Um, how do you, and you worked with Gary, but how would you coach people to work with a CEO? If you're talking with someone and, yeah, you're going to go work for the CEO, you're right there, you're that main person getting things done. How would you coach them? What would you tell them to do? What's the number one thing they got to do?
First thing I would ask the CEO, how can I win with you?
Yeah.
You know, how would you like me to communicate with you? How often would you like me to communicate with you? Do you have any core KPIs that you want me to report on? And the other thing is put everything in writing because they're busy. Put it in a way that they can go back, regardless of which CEO, or if you're a DOO for a real estate team, put it in writing where it's bullet points where they can review anytime, and make your communication clear. And
Super.
if they don't give you feedback on something, just keep it top of mind every week. With your communication, document. Every email I send, I save it in a folder that I can go back and reference at any time. So when we show up and we're reliable, I think that's really, really important. So I'm hopefully that's helpful to you guys.
Oh, so
It,
good.
it, it
Oh, it's
is,
awesome. So
it's
simple, but and I think that's what I love in our conversation today is you've done and you continue to do big things and in this freight train organization that you work with and a great leader like Robert. Yet, I hope if anything that people get is its simplicity.
mhm.
Just keep
and,
it simple, don't complicate it. That's
and,
it.
and consistency.
Yeah, that one. Awesome.
I, you know, so, all right. Well, thank you for having me. I
I
appreciate it.
appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right.